In this video, Sadhguru shares a beautiful lesson from Guru Nanak Ji and also talks about the devotion of Sikh community. We hope you will like the video and watch it till the end to enjoy the flavor that we have added. So, let's get right into it. Guru Nanak Ji was born in 1469 in Talwandi, a village in present-day Pakistan. He was born to a village accountant in a Hindu family, and received education in both Hindu and Islamic traditions, and was exposed to the spiritual teachings of both the religions from a young age. As a young man, he had a spiritual experience that inspired him to dedicate his life to spreading the message of one God, who is present in all beings. He traveled extensively throughout India and beyond, preaching the importance of meditation, humility, and service to others. He is said to have embarked on 4 major journeys during his lifetime. On these journeys, he visited various parts of India, as well as Tibet, Sri Lanka, and Arabia, among other places. These journeys allowed him to spread his message, gain knowledge, establish Sikh centers, and deepen his spiritual connection with God. He also had many disciples who followed him and helped spread his message. Before we move further, let's watch this video to see what Sadhguru said about Guru Nanak Ji.
Guru Nanak was traveling by foot, walking from village to village, offering his teachings to people. A very compassionate and courageous man, both ways, and quite we like him because he's not one of those all the time smiling, gentle saints. He knows when to be hard, when to be soft. Real thing. So one day, he happened to be a guest in a home of a very rich man in the area. So when he was a guest in his house for a few days. When he's leaving, he gave this man a needle, a sewing needle. He gave this needle and said, "You keep this with you. Sometime when you see me, you can give it back to me. Till then, please keep it with you." A needle, not a golden one, just a simple needle. That man took it and kept it with him. Then after the Guru left, he told his wife, "The Guru gave me a needle and I'm supposed to keep it in safekeeping and give it to him later." The wife, who was little wiser than him, usually they think they are, said, "You fool, why did you take a needle from a guru? If you take something from a man like him, and suppose he's an old man and if he dies and you don't get to give back this needle, what will you do? You will be in debt forever. Taking a needle from a guru, why did you take it? You should not receive anything from a man like him. What we offer is fine, never take anything from a man like him. And if he dies and goes away, you can't carry this needle to heaven and give it there. It is not possible to take the needle to heaven and return it there. So you will be in debt forever and ever and ever, and you will not be able to wash off that one karma, and it may mean 1,000 lifetimes. This is not a good thing. Just somehow find him and return it to him immediately." So the man started trekking behind the Guru. The Guru walks fast. But slowly, after a couple of months, the man caught up as to where he is. And then he said, "Oh my Guru, I don't want to carry this needle with me because just in case you're an old man, if you die, and I will be left in debt forever. And I know I cannot carry this needle to heaven and return it to you there." So Guru Nanak said, "So you know that you can't carry this needle to heaven. You know that, right?" He said, "Yes." Then when you know this, that you can't carry a needle, what are all these things that you're accumulating? will not be able to carry any of that. If you can't carry a needle, definitely you can't carry anything else. Then the man got the message. He fell at his feet and he went back home, sold everything that he can sell, just kept what is needed for his family, for him and his family. And the rest, because the whole society was poverty-stricken, so he went about building whatever was needed for the well-being of the people around. All these days, people were living in poverty, he was going on accumulating. The world is a limited space. This planet is a limited resource. If each individual goes about accumulating endlessly, all that can happen is strife, all that can happen is pain. Unless every individual somewhere fixes it within himself, okay, this is my deal, beyond this I will not go. Rest of my capabilities, I will use it for everybody's well-being. If does not come in a human being, he is a disaster to himself and to the world. The disaster on this planet is not earthquake, not volcano, not a tsunami. The true disaster is human ignorance. This is the only disaster. Ignorance is the only disaster. Enlightenment is the only solution. There's really no other solution, you see.
Over time, Guru Nanak Ji attracted a following of disciples, or students, who became known as Sikhs later on. The Sikh community that emerged around Guru Nanak's teachings grew into a distinct religious tradition, with its own practices, beliefs, and institutions. The Sikh religion emphasizes the importance of living a virtuous and ethical life, as well as the pursuit of knowledge and service to others. The central religious text of the Sikh faith is the Guru Granth Sahib, a collection of writings by Sikh gurus and other saints and scholars. People who follow Sikhism are called Sikhs, who believe in the fundamental principle of equality, which means that everyone is equal in the eyes of God, regardless of their race, gender, or social status. Sikhs are also known for their selfless service to others. They believe that serving others is a way to serve God, and they are often involved in volunteer work, charity, and other forms of community service. They also have a long and proud tradition of serving in the Indian Army. In fact, Sikhs have a reputation as some of the bravest and most skilled soldiers in the Indian military. The history of Sikh soldiers in the Indian Army dates back to the British colonial era, when Sikhs served in large numbers in the British Indian Army. After India gained independence in 1947, the Sikh soldiers continued to serve in the Indian Army, and they have played a significant role in many of the country's military conflicts. Sikhs have been involved in many of India's military operations, including the Indo-Pakistani Wars of 1965, 1971 and the Kargil War of 1999. They have earned a reputation for their bravery, discipline, and loyalty, and they are highly respected by their fellow soldiers and officers. We will now show you a video from Sadhguru, where he speaks about the devotion of Sikh people.
Sikh community was born in a very certain type of historical situation. When Guru Nanak came, he did not start any particular religion. He was just a guru who gathered a large group of people around him. He did not ascribe to any particular religious tenet. He generally thought his teaching is universal. He initiated people into certain types of meditation and devotional practices. Then, after him, another 5 gurus came. The 6th one was compelled to make it into a more integrated group because this particular part of the nation, the Punjab, one half of Punjab is now in Pakistan, one half is here. So Punjab is geographically positioned in such a place that every external invader who came into the subcontinent naturally first hit Punjab. So they forcefully tried to convert people there, and these people stood up and fought. Guru Gobind Singh saw there is no other way, that leaving these people unorganized is not going to make things happen, so he established like a proper religion, simple principles by which they will live and fight. So the soldiers of Guru Gobind Singh, who are known as Nihangs, are still there. In the same way, we had the privilege of going there as guests for this particular thing, which was particularly organized for us, where the Nihangs gave a display of their martial skills. They just still live as people lived about, what Guru Gobind Singh was 300 years ago? Is that? About 300 years ago, how they were. They're still armed like that, they live like that, they still ride horses and, they were displaying all their skills. And old men who are like over 50 years of age, riding two horses, standing, two horses galloping at full speed, standing on the two horses and riding like this. People fall off and they're such wild creatures, displaying their skills with sword and bows and arrows. How Guru Gobind Singh created the army. They're still in the same mode, same kind of clothing, same kind of weapons, same kind of attitude. A certain segment of them, I don't know what is the population, but they get initiated into this thing at a very young age and their whole life is martial. It was very, touching and interesting, and how they're in a time warp, how they stayed back in the same thing, because this was given to them as a sacred duty to protect that society at that moment. At that moment, it was a very, very relevant thing to do. If you look back and see why they became like that, there was sufficient reason for them to become the way they became. And the most incredible thing is the whole Sikh community and their temples and the Gurudwaras have done what is called as Kar Seva, which is volunteering. Everything is on voluntary basis. The place is kept, though there are lack of people and so crowded, it is kept like really, really clean. Everything is spick and span. People taking this up as their expression of their devotion, they clean the floor with their own clothes. Suppose you're wearing a shawl, with this shawl you clean a particular part of the floor. Now there are 1,000 volunteers who just come up by themselves, they're not organized. You come up today and you keep one part of the floor clean. That is your sadhana for the day. So because of this, the temple is extremely clean and people are cleaning it with their own clothes, what they're wearing. Extreme sense of devotion and dedication, which is really touching.
Before we move towards the end of this video, would you please take a moment and consider subscribing our channel. Also, if you know any Sikh, please write a comment about them and let us know how much more amazing they are. In addition to their military service, Sikhs have also made significant contributions to politics and administration in India. They bring a unique perspective and a strong commitment to public service to these fields, and they continue to play an important role in shaping India's future. Overall, Sikhs are amazing people who follow Guru Nanak's teachings, whose legacy continues to influence Sikhism and the broader world today. Guru Nanak's emphasis on social justice, equality, and service to others remains an important part of Sikh philosophy and practice. His poetry and teachings continue to inspire millions of people around the world.